Okay, so I've warmed up I'm using these little breaks in my filming here to try to keep pumping some heat into this headstock. And I'm just going to, some of the things here, you're going to see it gets messy and it gets not messy. And I realized I was going around and I was thinking so hard about what I'm filming and what I wanted to present that I was a little bit losing perspective around this lathe while it was running. Okay, remember I'm trying to heat it up? And it scared me a little bit, so I'm just stopping for a minute and feeling to see if we got anything going here, which we don't a lot, but I just felt uncomfortable, and as I've said before, this little odyssey is going to be about riding along with Al, who's not, I make no attempt at being adept at anything. I was feeling like I was getting too comfortable around a spinning lathe. This whole camera versus, what I'm doing tends to give me a sense of complacency. I don't want to do something stupid. There's a few of the things, you don't want to get too close to the headstock when it's running. When I'm cutting, I don't want to make a bunch of swarf. So we're talking about how things get messy and light, depending on what I'm doing. I've learned that what I want to do is make chips instead of swarf. If I just did a cutoff, and I got some swarf that's, this is harmless swarf. It's kind of pretty. But this is curling off in a nice, safe fashion. But just because of who I am, I feel like I have to. If I feel like I'm being unsafe, I have to just stop and say, okay, back up, reformulate my thoughts here. I'm going to fire this back up because I'm moving over to get a little bit more. Got some other stuff that I'm setting up here prior to. I want to make sure that I have the right bushing and not forget to throw a little oil down here so that when I stick that bushing back in, I got a little puddle of oil to dip it in. All right. Starting in the morning, starting like this, fresh, trying to pick up from something that went on yesterday, it's easy for me to have lost my train of thought, to have lost my. The one that worries me is the safety techniques, the ability to do these gestures and stuff and not run my hand in and get slapped. That would be the minor thing, as I nick a knuckle. So that's what this was, I just wanted to use that time to think and regroup, and I'm also thinking about the fact that this is a 243 Ackley chamber. I need to make some measurements on it and find out just how far I have to go in to wipe that out. That was when I was picking my barrels, that was something I'm thinking, oh, there's a 308 size chamber, but I forgot the Ackley part. So I say that kind of stuff just to let you know, not something as stupid as just to let you know I'm human, because that's a given. That's not the point. The point of this is there's so many ways to screw up that let's develop good habits around the lathe. Let's develop good habits, because this is aimed probably more at hobbyists maybe not hobbyists, but people who want to take that next step. I want people to see this and say, wow, that's cool, I would love to do that. Because it's good for the gun industry, it's good for the firearms industry, it's good for our posterity. My goal here is to interest people in something, to branch out, to go out and buy a little lathe like this. As I mentioned prior, these Matthews lathes look cool. I'm not here to shill for anybody. I have no idea. I've never even touched one. I've never seen one. I've never been in the same room with one. But I saw, that might be another. But the point is that it's ancient tech. This stuff that's no good out in the real firearms industry or the real machining industry is great for us hackers and prototypers and homeowners and people who want to take our gun skills to the next level. To become a shooter that can consistently hit things at 1,000 yards, let's say, just use that as a benchmark, requires a tremendous learning curve. Being able to do your own work doesn't save money, but it could for me, it hones the passion, trying to learn why, first thing is to have other people build me stuff. I've got tens of thousands of dollars of guns built by other people that know what they're doing. And now my job is to figure out the why. What did they do and why did they do it? And that's where I'm at right now. This method is what convinced me to buy my own personal lathe and start on my own personal odyssey, because I was a gunsmith in a little shop in a little venue for a while, and I realized that it's not something I'm going to do. I got in construction, and it's not something. So this to me is not going to be a hobby. A hobby means you think there's a 10,000 square foot shop here that you don't see. There's trucks and jackhammers and different equipment, wood stored and metal stored, and places to work, and a bow range in the top, and a schoolroom in the middle, and living quarters over to the side here. It stays heated, but this area is unheated, and this is the bitter reality of most people's lives if they're not a professional machinist. I guess the little catch-22 is a professional machinist is pretty much too busy making money and staying alive to do this kind of stuff on his own guns, and by the same token, the guy who pays the professional machinist is too busy making money, staying alive. So the people that are going to do this are the ones who are in a position where they can generate some spare time and do this kind of stuff in their garage or in their shop or in their. That's me. That's what I'm doing here. So because it's a garage or a shop, in this case it's a shop that's big enough that it would cost me, $500-600 a month to heat it. I don't. I'm in Washington. I rarely get these stretches of cold weather. We're in one now where today is a little warmer. Today it's probably 50 in here. Can't see my breath. And it's going to get up. I'll leave these heaters running. It'll be up in the 60s. I'll have to probably take some clothes off. But my point is that this is aimed at those people in the real world, under real world circumstances, who want to really do this kind of stuff at home. Once you realize, early in this video series or one of the other ones, I mentioned that one of the reasons I didn't do my work for years is because I didn't want to babysit the equipment. It's really, really hard to keep the equipment running right. And I knew that I wasn't going to be in a temperature-controlled indoor environment unless I was working for somebody in a big shop, because I wasn't going to start a big shop on my own, because construction was where my life had led. That was the path I was going down, still is. I still do that. So this is kind of a little system about this little part, this little segment right here in the middle is about some of this is aimed at people who have, number one, maybe never done this before. Number two, did it, but they did it back in high school in a VOTEC program, in somewhere, some job that they had. But now they're getting to a point where they can maybe do it at home. I want to try really hard, and I'm going to fail sometimes, but I want to try really hard to keep the safety aspect at the forefront. I want to try really hard because, as I said, habits are easily formed and hard to break. I watched myself this morning. Already I'm confused about which side of my clothes I put my phone, how I dress myself, just from watching myself on my monitor. Because I'm seeing myself in a whole different. By the same token, if this is new and you're watching, I don't want to be doing things that lead a person to do things in an unsafe manner in a new environment. So maybe that's going a little overboard with my safety geekishness, but this is fun. This is rewarding. This is a wonderful, wonderful passion to take me off, as I say, tottering into my dotage with a smile on my face. But I want to make sure that any information that I share out there with others is done in a safe, effectual manner. So, letting the air unchill a little bit, I'm going to flick this lathe back on. I'm kind of doing it in cycles. I'm going to try to get some readings in here in just a minute. Just had to go off sideways on a little safety wrap. Because I can. This is my show, my channel. I say show, it's not a show. But